Shawn Michaels is arguably one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. He had an illustrious wrestling career with many memorable matches and moments that made him a wrestling icon. He is popularly known as the Heartbreak Kid, aka HBK, and is extremely loved by his fans. However, his career was full of controversy, which gave some reasons why fans didn't like him either. In terms of pure wrestling skills, there really aren't many people who can compete with Shawn Michaels. He had immense talent in the ring, developing a fantastic set of moves and often performing mesmerizing moves. His excellent in-ring skills are the reason why he has been able to perform so many classics in his career. He could make fans feel a variety of emotions through his performances in the ring. He also had a special ability to get the best out of his opponents, often leading below-average matches to memorable games. It's no secret that Shawn Michaels was Vince McMahon's favorite wrestler in the 90s. This gave Shawn a huge boost, and at that time, he had a lot of political influence in the wrestling business. While it's true that everyone at the highest level uses politics to some degree, Shawn took it to another level. He became very conceited and wanted to do whatever he wanted. He used his power to influence the careers of other wrestlers and chose to only work with those he liked. He clashed with many people behind the scenes and became a very unpleasant personality. Michael Shawn Hickenbottom was born on July 22, 1965 in Chandler, Arizona. He has a sister named Sally and two brothers named Randy and Scott. He grew up in a military family and spent a short period of his life in Reading, Berkshire, England, but mostly grew up in San Antonio, Texas. As a child, he disliked the name Michael and convinced his family and friends to call him by his second name. Ever since, everyone started to call him by his second name, Shawn. In addition, Hickenbottom moved frequently since his father served in the military. By age 12, he knew he wanted to be a professional wrestler, performing wrestling moves with fake blood at a high school talent show. He was a keen athlete growing up, and his sporting career began at the age of 6 when he played football. He was a standout, running back at Randolph High School at Randolph Air Force Base, and eventually captained the football team. He attended Southwest Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas, but dropped out to pursue a career in professional wrestling. At the age of 20, Michaels made his national debut as Shawn Michaels in the American Wrestling Association, AWA, defeating Budokan on ESPN. He teamed up again with Marty Jannetty, known as the Midnight Rockers, and they won the AWA World Tag Team Championship by defeating Doug Summers and Buddy Rose. In 1987, the Rockers were signed by a competing company, the World Wrestling Federation, WWF. 2 weeks later, they were fired from WWF due to a bar incident, a misunderstanding according to Michael's autobiography. They then returned to the AWA, where they won the AWA Tag Team titles for a second time before being re-signed by the WWF a year later. The Rockers continued their partnership, which eventually broke up on December 2, 1991. WWF decided to turn Shawn heel and have him turn on Marty in one of the most famous segments in WWE history. This happened on an episode of Beefcake's interview show, Barbershop. Acting as if he had made peace with Marty, Shawn kicked him and threw him out of the window of the barbershop. This moment was the beginning of everything for Shawn. He became an unbeatable heel who would use his superior speed and dirty tactics to win matches. He adopted the persona of a self-absorbed pretty boy who would be accompanied to the ring by a large mirror so he could check his hair and appearance before his matches. This cocky attitude made Shawn one of the WWF's most hated heels at the time. Ultimately, Shawn was paired with the sensational Shelly, a legend in her own right. The two became one of the most compelling duos in wrestling history. Sherry helped Shawn become Intercontinental Champion. We've discussed what a great wrestler Shawn Michaels is, but it's not just the fighting part that he's good at. Throughout his career, Shawn has played both fan favorite baby faces and arrogant villains, proving his versatility. He's also savvy on the mic, exudes charisma that helps him connect with his fans. In a career that spans more than 2 decades, Michaels has been amazingly consistent. When he takes his jobs seriously, he always delivers results and rarely disappoints. Even at the end of his career, Shawn had some of the best games of his career, which shows his longevity in the game. As mentioned before, Shawn Michaels used to use his political influence negatively. He'd often refuse to lose matches and drop titles. There were several such incidents in the 1990s, where he would often fake injuries to avoid losing. In 1995, Shawn Michaels refused to drop the Intercontinental Championship to Dean Douglas, and in 1997, he infamously faked an injury, presumably to avoid losing the WWE Championship to Bret Hagen. But the worst was when Shawn refused to lose to the British Bulldog in just one night in 1997. Bulldog had dedicated the match to his sick sister by the time, but Shawn used his political influence to win the title from Bulldog. The personal feud between Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels has finally been settled, but it was a long-standing reason why fans disliked Shawn. Both fighters had bad blood for a very long time, especially because of the Montreal screw job. Both men developed tension in the late 90s. Bret refused to lose the WWE title to Shawn at Survivor Series 1997 in his home country of Canada, as Shawn had faked an injury a year earlier to avoid dropping the belt to Bret. However, Bret was stripped of the gold in the event as Shawn was awarded the win without Bret's submission. It's still unknown how much Shawn was a part of Screwjob, but the incident made fans hate him for a long time. Shawn would eventually suffer a career-ending injury during a WWF pay-per-view match due to a back injury. He was forced to retire early. After about 4 years, Shawn never wrestled again. Shawn knew he couldn't sit on the sidelines any longer. He decided to return to wrestling full-time and won the World Heavyweight Championship in a Hell in a Cell match just after his return. Over the next 6 years, Michaels produced some of the most memorable matches in wrestling. He reformed DX with Triple H and ended the WWE career of Ric Flair. Shawn Michaels finally retired after losing to The Undertaker at WrestleMania 26. While Shawn refused to lose matches in the 1990s, things changed drastically during his second return in the 2000s. We saw another version of Shawn who was quite generous and committed 100% to his craft. He realized it wasn't always about him. He was now unselfish and would give other young talent a chance to shine on the main spotlight. In the 1990s, Shawn got into drugs and alcohol, and at one point in his time, he was one of the most hated guys in the locker room. After recovering from his injury, Shawn found religion and started speaking on conferences at various churches around the country, sometimes with Steve Borden, otherwise aka Sting, another well-known Christian wrestler. Shawn married his current wife, and they have 2 children. It turns out he made the right decisions in life. His legacy and business impact is undeniable. Shawn Michaels proved that even if everyone tells you you're too small, you can prove them wrong. He proved that you can overcome addiction and injury to come back even better than you were, and he proved that even if you have made a million mistakes, it is never too late to make amends. Bret returned to WWE after a decade-long feud with Shawn Michaels. Vince McMahon and Bret reconciled, and Bret was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Soon after, Bret agreed to do some appearances and matches for WWE on a part-time basis. One thing everyone knew needed to be addressed was the feud between Shawn and Bret. Shawn and Bret made their amends inside the ring and buried the hatchet, shaking hands and hugging each other. Fans cheered, but Shawn said he felt a huge weight lifted off his shoulders when that moment happened. These two men showed the world that forgiveness is possible. Shawn Michaels lives with his wife and beautiful children. His story is actually one of its kind. He turned his life around and found happiness. What could be a happier ending to one of wrestling's most dramatic life stories? Despite the challenges he faced, Shawn Michaels managed to turn his life around and achieve redemption both personally and professionally. His legendary matches against the likes of Bret Hart, The Undertaker, and Triple H solidified his status as one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Michaels' ability to tell compelling stories in the ring and connect with the audience on an emotional level set him apart from his peers. His resilience and determination to overcome his past mistakes inspired a new generation of wrestlers to pursue their dreams and never give up, no matter the obstacles they face. Many of Shawn Michaels' peers and colleagues have spoken out about his remarkable career and the impact he has had on the wrestling industry. WWE Hall of Famer Stone Cold Steve Austin once said, "Shawn Michaels is the best wrestler I've ever seen. His in-ring psychology and ability to connect with the crowd are second to none." Similarly, WWE legend Ric Flair praised Michaels for his unparalleled work ethic and dedication to his craft, stating, "Shawn Michaels is a once-in-a-generation talent. His passion for the business is unmatched, and he has earned every accolade that has come his way." Shawn Michaels' influence extends far beyond the wrestling ring, as he has inspired countless individuals to overcome their own challenges and pursue their passions. WWE superstar Seth Rollins credits Michaels as his biggest influence, stating, "Shawn Michaels taught me that hard work and dedication can lead to greatness. He's the reason I'm where I am today." Similarly, NXT Women's Champion Sasha Banks has praised Michaels for breaking down barriers and paving the way for future generations of female wrestlers, saying, "Shawn Michaels showed me that anything is possible if you believe in yourself and never give up on your dreams." In conclusion, Shawn Michaels' redemption story serves as a testament to the power of perseverance and self-belief. Despite facing numerous setbacks and obstacles throughout his career, Michaels never wavered in his pursuit of greatness. His willingness to confront his past mistakes and change for the better has inspired millions of fans and fellow wrestlers around the world. As we continue to celebrate the legacy of Shawn Michaels, let us remember his journey of redemption and the positive impact he has had on the wrestling industry. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of Shawn Michaels' redemption story and the words of praise from those who know him best. Stay tuned for more inspiring stories and insightful discussions on our channel. Until next time, take care and keep believing in the power of redemption.